to happen. Good evening. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Hommocks Middle School. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's good to see all of you. And in a few minutes, I'm going to have a few people here introduce themselves. But I'm Al Saki, principal at the Hommocks, and welcome to our incoming sixth grade, sort of like a welcome night, right? So you're going to learn a little bit more about our school. You're going to learn a little bit about the folks here, some of our programming. And I'm just curious, just by show of hands, how many parents here are like new to middle school? Wow. Yay, okay. And how many folks have had middle schoolers? Fantastic, all right? So you have a lot of friends here who can help you with this friendship, right? So, I always describe, I always share that middle school, besides birth to 3, I think middle school is probably the most amount of growth you're going to see at your make, right? And I call it an adventure because, it is going to be filled, with some ups and downs. The good news is that you have an incredible team of people here who are going to help support you through that process. So I myself, I have 3 of my own, and my youngest is about to head into middle school, right? So as much as I've been in middle school my entire career, I am still terrified of my entry into middle school. Simply because she's very different than the other, the other 2. But to me, what's important, I'm going to attend one of these meetings myself sometime soon. And what's important to me that I want to hear, that I want to reassure all of you of, is that our goal is to make sure that we're taking care of the children. Okay, our goal is to make sure that we're showing them care, compassion, love, and that we're looking out for them. Okay, so rest assured that despite what you hear about the big bad middle school, it's okay. The kids have come through here for many years and have been fine, all right? And this will continue, the trend will continue, kids will be fine. But if for any reason there is any issues, like I said, we have some wonderful people here who are here to support you through this entire journey. So that's the first thing. Second thing, something that I'm going to be sharing with your children when they come. They're going to come and visit us sometime soon. And I always tell them that this is the first homework assignment they get from their principal, right? So please reiterate this with them and encourage them. I always share with them that they have the first week of school, this is my assignment, the first week or the first few days of school is they have to find at least one adult, one person. I don't care who it is. It could be myself, it could be any of the folks here, the teacher, an aide, a custodian, a campus supervisor, but at least one adult that if they ever have a difficult day, they're struggling, that they can go to that person. That person can help them navigate the situation. That person can help us get in touch with you, just kind of guide them through that day. Okay, so rest assured, again, we're here to make sure that we take care of your children, and that they're safe and they're fine. So, with all that said, this is probably the least you're going to ever hear me talk, because I know that we're kind of short for time. I am going to have our admin team just quickly come and introduce themselves, just so that you know who the admin team is.
Hi, I'm Rob Andrews. I'm one of our assistant principals. This is my 8th year here. I live in Mamaroneck, so my daughter may be playing some of your daughters in softball on Sunday. We're so grateful to have you here. The first days of middle school are as joyful as they are nerve-wracking. Your children will have a smiling adult face around every single corner of this building. We see it every year, and it's going to be a great year.
I don't need Good evening, my name is Saraya Sinerja. I'm one of the other assistant principals at the Hommocks. It's my 2nd year at the Hommocks. It's been a great experience working with the community, the parents, and I'm coming from the DOE, the city schools, so my experience has always been, I started as an Algebra 1 teacher, and I'm now assistant principal, so middle school is my career and my passion, so I'm welcome everyone, and hoping to meet all of your students, your children next year, 6th grade.
And hi, I'm Adrienne Klein, the 3rd assistant principal here at Hommocks. This is my first year in Mamaroneck, but not my first year as an administrator. I used to work at Greenwich Public Schools, where I live with my only child who's graduating high school. So I have very vague memories of what middle school is like for her. I was a middle school teacher for several years. 6th grade was my sweet spot. So it should be a very exciting year coming up for all of you who are experiencing it for the first time, and for those of you who are experiencing it for the 2nd or 3rd or 4th, depending on how many children you're sending through. Nice to see everyone.
Thank you. So that is our administrative team. So the four of us make up the administrative team in the building. I am going to take a minute to introduce Randy. Before I introduce Randy, please, I know that, elementary school, everybody's like, totally involved, PTA, everyone signs up, there's like a waiting list to sign up. So as you come into the middle school, that's the hope, right? I want that same enthusiasm to come right into the middle school, but without the work of our PTA, obviously, we're not able to do some of the things that we would love to do for our students. I think it's very important that, please sign up for the PTA. Randy, why don't you come on up and share a few words as to how we...
Hi everybody, my name is Randy Kramsler. I see a lot of familiar faces in here already, which is awesome. I have a ninth grader actually now, so I've been through this whole experience, and I also have a sixth grader right now, so going through it the second time with, two very different kids, so very different experiences. So it's interesting, but it is fun, and the support staff and everybody, they're fantastic. If you have a problem, you ask, so just keep that in mind. And if you have a question or concern, you reach out to the co-presidents. I am exiting, I am finishing my term, but you have two amazing co-presidents coming on, one who's been here with me, Wendy Sales, the other Nicole Fiftel, amazing co-presidents. If you need to reach us, it's easy, I'll say it right now, you're probably gonna forget, and we'll send you a bunch of emails so you'll figure it out. Our email address is hmxpress@gmail.com. Look out for a welcome email, probably around August, with a lot of information, a lot of things to look into. We're always looking for volunteers. If you have an hour, 2 hours, or you want to take on a committee, we're always looking for volunteers, and we do a lot of fun things planned. One of our first events of the fall is 6th grade movie night, which is always a sold out great event for the kids. So we're here if you need us, and have fun with it.
But I have to go for our PTA. So with all that said, I know I'm running out of time. Just the last thing, please let the children know, do not worry about the locker. So please encourage them. I'm going to share it. We're all going to share it. But just keep encouraging them, like we know, just not to worry about the locker. Okay? And again, please feel free at any point in time to reach out to any of us with any questions between now and June, and obviously throughout the summer and when we're back in September. Okay? Enjoy the night. Thank you. Now here's our team. Who's starting?
I am, but I don't.
I'm the only person who needs the mic.
I don't know that I need the mic. Hi. So I am the lucky one that gets to introduce the counseling department and welcome you to Hommocks on behalf of the counseling team. I am Stacy Tramontosi. I'm the counselor for Team 4, and it is my 16th year here at Hommocks. And if you want to introduce.
Sure, I'm Kimberly Brown. I am the 8th grade school counselor, so I won't work with you guys as directly in the first couple of years, but in the 8th grade, the last year of your child's middle school career, they'll probably most likely be working with me.
Hey everyone, I'm Rob Fisher. I'm the Team 1 school counselor, and this is my 4th year here at Hommocks.
Hi guys, good evening. My name is Brian Swintigarai. I'm the Team 3 counselor. This is actually, I'm going into my 3rd year as well at Hommocks.
Hi guys, how are you? I'm Tim Nelson. I'm the counselor for Team 2. I'm also the coordinator of the counseling department. And I've been here for 12 years. I haven't quite beat Stacy yet, but yeah, I've been here for 12 years. And just so you know, I carry my middle school ID in my wallet. So when the kid's like having a bad day, I'm like, hold on. It gets a laugh. So.
And hi everyone, my name is Kayla Reyes, Kayla Briganti, and I am the Director of Student Life. This is my 3rd and a half year at Hommocks, and I come from the college and high school world, and I'm happy to report that middle schoolers have not scared me out of the position. That's it. Y para mis padres que hablan español, buenas noches, mi nombre es Kayla Reyes, Kayla Briganti, y estoy muy emocionada de tenerlos aquí esta noche.
So, welcome to Hommocks. So we actually had the opportunity last week to go to all 4 elementary schools. So we met all of your children. They were adorable. They had great questions. They were excited. It was such a great time getting to meet them. When we were there, we gave them a lot of information, and similar to the information you're going to get tonight, we talked about teams, we talked about some of the encore classes, We talked about some of the fun stuff, we talked about the lockers, and we answered any questions that they had. And now, next week, they're actually coming to us. So that's even more exciting. So last week was about us giving them information. Next week is more about us showing it to them. So when they come to us next week, they're gonna meet with us, and what we're gonna do is have a panel of students for each school that went to their school last year. So each school as they come, they're gonna meet with about 8 sixth graders that went to their elementary school. They'll be able to talk to them, give them some advice, answer any questions, and then the highlight of that is we're gonna break up into small groups and take them on tours. So our goal, and we said this to them, a lot of them are nervous and a lot of them are excited, and our goal is to make the nervous feelings smaller and the excited feelings a lot bigger. So there's a lot of time we spend, we went already, they'll come to us, then we're gonna go back to the elementary schools, talk to the teachers, get information about them. So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes before they come, but we're excited to meet all of you, all of them, get to know them, and spend time with them. So one of the changes in coming to middle school is having a counselor. So elementary, they don't have counselors. And we asked your kids, kind of, what do you think we do? What do you think a counselor does? And they all hit it on the head. They said, we help them with their problems, we help with their schoolwork, we help with their schedules, we can help if they're having trouble with friends or with their family, really anything. And the way we kind of described it is like when you go to a hotel and you go to the concierge or the front desk, if you have a question, you come to us, we're kind of that front desk, and either we will help them with it, we'll help them through it, or we'll let them know who can help them. So there's a lot of time we're gonna spend with them. We shared all the different things that we'll do in meeting with them in groups, meeting with them individually, meeting with them in their classrooms. We're there to help with the lockers, we're there to help with anything and everything they might need. So it really, it's amazing, the relationship that we form with them over the years that they're here is incredible, and it's so fulfilling and heartwarming, and it's what makes this job so amazing. So what I want to do before I turn it over, so everyone else is gonna kind of talk nuts and bolts, give you information and more learning about the school, but one assignment that my sixth graders get every year is they're instructed, like middle of the year, they have to write a letter to their English teacher about what they thought Hommocks would be like, what it actually was like, and their experiences. So I saved some of them, and this is actually one from last year, but it's a good one. So I'm gonna read it to you just to hear from the sixth grade perspective, just what's happening, what it's like, and how they feel. So this is from a student last year who's now a seventh grader. When I first met the Hommocks counselors with my fifth grade class last year, ideas of what it would be like as a sixth grader exploded in my head. I thought I would get lost in the maze of school with F's scribbled on my report card. I thought that I would forget my lunch on the first day and be starving. I thought that my friends would vanish like one of those magic tricks, and I would be alone, all alone with no help. I thought the 7th and 8th graders would walk down the hall knocking into us like they conquered the school. The next 3 years were going to be a bloody death trap. It gets better, I promise. I would not read it if it was that bad. When I arrived at Hommocks that first day, I was shivering with trepidation, but everything I thought would happen happened in the exact opposite way. Although the 7th and 8th graders towered over me, they actually helped me. I was able to find all of my classes with help, and the teachers were really positive about teaching us. I remembered my lunch, I ate with all my friends, and we were all there to support each other. When I got home, my parents asked me about my day. This made me realize that the year to come would change my life forever, for the better. I have been so successful in school so far this year. I have gotten almost all of my tests and quizzes in the 90s. I have made so many new friends from all teams. I haven't had locker problems since the first week of school. My teachers are amazing, and they work with me when I'm confused. My counselor always knows what to say and how to help me, whether it's helping me clean a messy binder, organize my things, helping with friendship problems, or talking about stuff going on at home. I see her all the time. I love Hommocks.
My teachers and counselor taught me that when I stay positive and confident, I can accomplish anything. I hope that the years to come, in and out of Hommocks, will be as excellent as it is right now. And I'd like to read one of these just to share the feelings that your kids are having are totally normal. I have a 5th grader also going to middle school in a different district. Their feelings are normal. They're scared, they're excited, they're nervous, they're worried. But there's so many amazing things that are gonna come their way, and we're gonna be there to help them through anything that's difficult so they could really enjoy their time here and have the best experience. So nice to meet you guys. I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Nelson. Oh, actually, Mr. S, you're going next, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Change it over.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
I got it. Perfect. All right, so, first of all, again, hi, my name is Bryce Ortega. Kids call me Mr. S. It's a mouthful, so the kids usually call me Mr. S or Mr. Suerte. Like I said, I'm going into my 3rd year here, and I want to start by saying that I'm just happy that we get to all be here inside in an auditorium. I'll share quickly. I had to do my demo lesson to get this job outside in the sidewalk because they wouldn't let me in because it was during COVID. And I had to sit around with 18 kids outside in the middle of the sidewalk and do a counseling with about 9 people hovering over me in a picnic table. So that was fun, but I'm happy that we're here. And you know, we have all these wonderful people here and the people listed here on this slide. Your children will be definitely surrounded by support, right? Your teachers, and Mr. Nelson will get into a little bit more of, you know, your teams and how, you know, we kind of group teachers with teams and so forth. But obviously your teachers are our main point of contact for you guys and for us, and we communicate all the time with them. Counselors, we have 7 dedicated counselors on our staff, 14 counselors. Ms. Kayla Briganti is our Director of Student Life. We have Ms. Brown, who's our 8th grade counselor, and we have Ms. Denise Payne, who's actually not here, but she runs a different program called the Hub. Okay? We also have 4 school psychologists, which for our middle school is pretty great. They work across teams and across grades. Their role is a little bit different than ours, but you know, for some students and for some parents, you will be communicating as well with school psychologists. And we work very, very closely with them. We have a very tight group, and we communicate, consult with each other, exchange information all the time to best support your kids, right? We have 1 dedicated school social worker, Mr. Adonis Calderon, who's my life coach. Amazing resource for our team and amazing person to have here for our community and resource to both our kids and our parents. Works very closely with us as well. You know our admin team here. And of course you guys. You guys know your kids the best, right? We only have them for about 7.5 hours, 8 hours. So we rely on you a lot to share information with us. You obviously rely on us to share information. I think the more that we communicate and build a solid, you know, stream of communication, I think it's always best for the students, right? We do have weekly team meetings where we meet. So your child's team, your core teachers, and some encore teachers that we'll get into a little bit more, meet weekly, and we're always communicating. So, you know, I think the main message here is that all of the supports around your students around your children are communicating, and always, always, always feel free to reach out to us to some, you know, certain degrees, liaison those communications. And, you know, we look forward to having you guys and your children in September. Thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Nelson, right? This time, Mr. Nelson?
False alarm this time? Okay, really me? All right. So during COVID, we were thrown a little bit of a curveball there, as you guys were. And so we had to do a lot of things a little bit differently in terms of talking to kids. So we actually created this video while kids were at home. We did this presentation virtually a couple of years ago. But we still use it because it's a really great, I think, video. It's very short, but what we did is we asked current 6th graders to sort of share some tips that they had for the 5th graders. And we've been doing some interactive Google Classroom work with 5th grade the last couple of years, which we're going to continue. but I want to show this to you really quickly, and I hope the sound works.
Hi, fifth graders. My name is Bibi Naki. I'm here to tell you guys one tip about going to sixth grade. One, I would say be prepared for everything. Like, it doesn't matter, just bring all your stuff, like all the stuff that you think you would need for each class. And you're gonna end up not eating half of it, but still just do it because you never know. But the second thing is that it's like, don't stress about making friends. You're gonna have core buddies in all your classes. They're gonna be with you throughout the whole year, and just basically you're gonna become friends with them like over time. And then you start going with other people and branching out, and it's gonna be really fun. So, yeah, bye.
Hi, soon to be sixth graders. I'm a sixth grader at Hommocks, and I remember when I first came to Hommocks, I was really scared. I was really nervous, but it actually isn't as hard as it seems. A lot has changed in the past year. I'm way more responsible, and I feel like I know much more. I think that when you're coming into sixth grade, you should always ask a lot of questions and just be friendly with everyone. Bye!
Hi, fifth graders. I am Cleo Ingalls, and I am a student at Hommocks Middle School. And I think when I was going into sixth grade, I was pretty nervous. I didn't know where my classes were, and scheduling was like a big thing for me. So I think that if you go to eSchool Data, which is a website, it gives you like everything scheduled, calendars, it even gives you your grades. It's super helpful. I also think bring lots of pencils. I feel like my backpack needs them. But yeah, pencils definitely. And I think don't worry about friends. Everyone is really nice and teachers are awesome, and I think you'll really like it here. Bye!
Hi, fifth graders. So when I was going into sixth grade, I was really scared about not finding any of my classes, but I've noticed that like anybody can help you in the hallways. You can ask anybody, like teachers, just students also, and people like hall monitors, I think you can call them, and they will most likely know where you need to go. Like one time I was trying to find where one of my classes were, and there was this girl, and she was like, "What class are you looking for? Who's your teacher?" And I said who my teacher was, and she was like, "Okay, it's right over there," and it's just really helpful.
Hi, sixth graders. I just wanted to say, you guys have been doing a great job. Like, the last year was really hard, no graduation, but sixth grade has been pretty hard, crowded hallways, but you guys will get the hang of it. It's actually not as scary as you might think. Like, my teachers were saying, like, oh, you're gonna have 8 teachers in your class, and so it got me really scared, but it's in different classes, so, yeah. And they're all really, really nice, and make sure you learn it well. Just make sure to ask a whole bunch of questions. They'll answer them, and they're very polite. Bye!
Hi, upcoming sixth graders. Here are some tips I think are really helpful for going into middle school next year. The first tip is to study for tests. You get tests way more often than you did in elementary school, so make sure you study for them. The second tip is don't care like what other people think about you. You're you, and it doesn't matter like if you want to like dress cool or just act cool. Just be you, and yeah. And lastly, the third tip is to make sure you have like all your supplies and everything, because that will like affect your grades. And just try really hard and be respectful to everyone. So yeah, bye. Good luck.
Hi, fifth graders. My name's Ray, and here's some tips that I have for you for sixth grade next year. Number one is obviously you're going to need a lot of pencils for many reasons, and also please get out 6 more notebooks. You're probably gonna fill like 1.5, like 2.5 maybe. You need 2 separate notebooks for one English and math. in your binder, please, just one binder, or like, at least two. Read them all. And I think that's it. I hope you have a great day and have a great graduation.
Alright, so it's a fun video because
Fifth graders,
it's playing again.
my name is Phoebe.
You know, and Stacy mentioned that we were at the elementary schools last week, which to me is just awesome because you're sitting there in an auditorium or a room and looking at 100 kids and they're like terrified. What are they gonna say? But you know, I feel like it's the first time that they hear a little bit more about what it's like or what it feels like, and so that's a video that, you know, I think it talks to you a little bit about what kids are thinking about coming into 5th grade and what the 6th graders, you know, how far they've come. And so it's really fun to do that kind of work. And so I want to talk a little bit, just nuts and bolts, a little bit about how they come in. And many of you know that we have what we call teams. And when we spoke to the 5th graders, we kind of used, I threw out the example of Harry Potter and the houses, the Gryffindor, the Slytherin. And I always missed one and somebody yelled at me, but we have houses here, we have teams. And the teams, the purpose of the team is to create a smaller school in a bigger school. Okay, so in September, when you come for back to school night and you're running the classes, your kids' schedule, you're gonna see each team has their kind of like own space, okay? So as a Team 2 counselor, my folks are up on the North House 2nd floor. So you got your like math class, English, and social studies right next door to each other. They've got their lockers right in the same hallway. Teachers in between classes are outside. Usually I'm up there kind of talking to kids. So it's kind of like their own little space. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the off-team stuff. So this is only about half of their day as on team. But you got your English, science, math, social studies as part of the core. And they get a school counselor for 2 years. So this is kind of an opportunity for us to get to know the kids when they come in. We articulate pretty closely with the 5th grade. We're starting that process now. So we get to know them a little bit before they come in. And then we work really closely with them for 2 years. And I will say also, this year we were fortunate enough to get Miss Kimberly Brown here in the 8th grade. But we still work pretty closely with our 8th graders as well. So it's like a little bit a team approach. But you know, we get to know them really well. We work really closely with the team teachers, and we work really closely with parents as well. In terms of teams, we get this question a lot. I saw a lot of hands about new families, that's great. But for the returning families, if your son or daughter was on a team already, or are currently on a team, you can request to be on that team. You could also request not to be on that team. So some kids will say like, oh, you know, my older brother was like, got in trouble a lot, you know, maybe I want to be on a different team, like have a different experience. I hear that sometimes. So you can do that if you want, but we try to keep the same families if we can, since we already developed relationships with them, and the siblings often tell their younger ones about the teachers and all that inside information. But the team structure is really important, especially in middle school. A lot of middle schools around here, and across the country actually, use the team model to kind of shrink a bigger building into a smaller one. Okay, I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Fisher, who's going to talk a little bit about the off-team classes.
Thank you. We're vertically challenged. There we go. Hey everybody. So yeah, as Mr. Nelson said, I'm going to talk to you about what we call encore classes. Those are the classes that the students will have that are not part of their team necessarily. Before I get into that, Mr. Nelson might have touched on this, but I do want to emphasize it one more time. The kids might not have their best friend on their team, and that's totally okay. There's going to be 8 periods in the day, and 4 of those periods, so half the day, they'll be in classes with a mix of kids on all the teams, including their own. So, you know, they will have opportunities to see their friends, even if they're not on their team. There's also lunch, which the whole grade is together for. So at least once a day, they'll definitely have 44 minutes with a good friend of theirs, or several. So I'm going to talk to you about the Encore classes. There's 3 different groups of Encore classes that we're going to go through, and there's a 10-week cycle. So like report cards come out every 10 weeks, and in those 10 weeks, some of those classes will change, and I'll go over those. Actually, I want to start with the music and phys ed section of the Encore classes. So I'm sure your kids take a music or have phys ed in elementary school. Our version of phys ed and music is a little bit more advanced, I would say. There's more to do. In phys ed, we, aside from learning a new sport or getting better at a sport, we do have the pool, and all of our phys ed teachers are certified lifeguards. So if your child doesn't know how to swim, they will certainly help them along the way. They do a lot of cool stuff in there. I don't know if you guys have been to the pool, but there's they have like canoes in there. Sometimes they take them out. They have the kids go in there and they learn how to like paddle in a canoe. They go off the diving board. A lot of fun stuff. We also have the ice skating rink, so they have a couple units in ice skating. And again, if they don't know how, they'll learn along the way. And there's also an adventure course, like a rope course that they have. So if they go into the gym, they look up, they'll see a bunch of different like cargo net and ropes that they climb, and there's some signatures on the top of the ceiling once they get there if they want to sign their name. It's really cool, it's really interactive. They have a great time with that. As far as music classes, in 6th grade, they'll have the option of choosing their vocals as their instrument and be a chorus. If they play a string instrument, they could be in the orchestra. And if they play a band instrument, they'll be in the band. A lot of the kids had questions when we went to the elementary schools about whether or not they play like a certain instrument if they have it, such as like piano or guitar, which we actually don't have in band, but we do have different clubs. I think like jazz band is one of them. They meet before school, some after school, and they might have different opportunities to play those instruments in those clubs if they are interested in signing up. So, we do have a bunch of instruments involved. There's another class I'll talk about soon that they'll learn alternative instruments as well. But the phys ed and music class will flip-flop every day. So if they have phys ed on Monday, for instance, they'll have their music class on Tuesday, and then it'll go back and forth. So they won't have those every day of the week, but it'll be constant throughout the whole year. The next section of Encore classes is the Unified Arts classes. Right now they probably have classes in elementary school called like specials, I think. And those are somewhat related. They might have some that we currently have, and again, in middle school it's a little bit more advanced. So art, for instance, is one where if you've seen around the building, there's a bunch of different artwork that kids have created, all different versions, painting, drawing, sketching, really cool stuff. They'll advance their artistic abilities there. There's computer science, so if they're good with tech, and there's a unit on like coding, and they do a lot of cool stuff on the computer and learning further about that. There's exploring music, which I touched on before, where they learn a bunch of different alternative instruments. I think ukulele and different types of drums and stuff, and the kids really love that class. It's really interesting, brings out more artistry within them. And then the last one is called FACS, which is short for Family and Consumer Science. That's kind of like a home ec class, if you guys have had that. They'll be baking and cooking and learning how to sew and the safety of the kitchen. And if they like the counselors, hopefully they'll bring down a little taste test. That'll be interesting, we always enjoy that. And so this is part of the 10-week rotation classes. So they'll have the Encore classes for Unified Arts every day for that 10-week span. And then after 10 weeks, after they get the report card, that class is going to change to another one of those 4. So it'll be a rotation of 4. And then their last Encore classes will be the foreign language classes. So they'll be, anyone have an idea of what foreign languages we take here? Any idea? You got a hand? Oh, are they up there? It should be easy. So French, Chinese, and Spanish. They'll be able to have like a little bit of each. So they'll have those in the rotation. They'll take Chinese, Spanish, and French for 10 weeks each. And they'll be able to determine which one they like the best, and they'll then choose that language for the next 2 years to study. And along with the foreign language, we have a new class actually that we're going to start next year, media literacy. Yeah, media literacy. It's a really cool course. They're going to learn had to dive into more studying and advancing their knowledge on reading and writing with nonfiction material. They're going to have the library to research, and they'll learn like how to make citations and main ideas and the purpose of what the author is writing about. They'll dive deeper into that matter, so it'll help with their ELA skills. And that'll also be in the 10-week rotation. So they'll have those 4 classes for 10 weeks, and then it'll rotate in that period. And those are the encore classes. All right? And then, who's next? Kayla.
I realized after I introduced myself that I gave you like both of my last names, and I'm like, that's a little confusing. But just know that when I meet students, I always tell them to call me Miss Kayla, so that clears up any last name confusion. So every single day when I get into work, I have a very dedicated group of students that come in to do the morning announcements, and the morning announcements sets off the day. We do the pledge, we share what day it is, what day in the schedule rotation it is, and then towards the end, we always share like a little motivational quote. And one of the ones that the students always request to say is, not every day is a good day, but there is something good in every day. And the reason I bring this up tonight is because come 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade and beyond, not every day is going to be a good day. Your child or children do have meltdowns over lockers the first couple of weeks. They may come crying to you on a Sunday night because there is a science project due tomorrow and you have none of the supplies and you have an hour to get them and to complete the project. And us counselors know that come the summertime, there are a lot of body odors, so we are stocking up on deodorants and body sprays, and maybe someone smelled them. So again, not every day is going to be a good day. But I hope that what you can take away from tonight is that we got your kids. Like, we are here to support them, and we would do all that we can to do that. And we know that together with our teachers, the admin team, sites, our social worker, we can get them through not just these next couple of months that are coming up in 6th grade and the next couple of years, but we can really set them up for whatever life it is that they picture for themselves. When they come into Hommocks, we are uniting 4 different elementary schools into one, so there's gonna be so much beauty just within that on its own. They're gonna meet students from other schools, interact with cultures that maybe they have not interacted with in the past, and that just doesn't happen within the team structure, but also when they're in encore classes. And my favorite thing of the day is always our extracurriculars. So I implore you to really tap into your kids and ask them what it is that they are interested in. That could be chess, photography, or maybe they want to try something new, like being an editor in the yearbook club, or gaming, or the service club to do community service. 2 advisors are right here. But this is what middle school is all about. It's really about trying new things, seeing what works, maybe having some trial and error and things that don't work, and then again, growing into the person who they are going to be. Because they come in 10, 11 years old, but when they leave us, 8th grade graduation, they're young adults. They're well on their way into adulthood. And so we want to prepare them as best as we can by offering these opportunities for them. I also work very closely with the PTA to put on things such as the 6th grade movie night, which is always a really fun time, or the 6th grade spring dance. And I see some laughter and stickers, so I hope those are good. We had our 6th grade party a couple of days ago, and I was not there because I had a previous engagement, but I heard that it was the talk of the town. So I hope those are good things to share. I lost my train of thought, but I just want to leave you all with this. We are a team, and the best way that we can help your kids to help your family is if there's an open line of communication. So up there, I linked my Student Life website, which is only part of this conversation, but really involve us. We want to be there for you and your family, and we look forward to seeing your kiddos here in a couple of months. Thank you. And next up, we have Ms. Brown.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Ms. Kimberly Brown. I am the 8th grade counselor. And so you've heard a lot of information already, and last week we shared a lot of information with the kids. And one of the most asked questions that we always get is, what will my day look like? What will my schedule look like? So you've heard about the encore and encore classes. Again, there are 8 periods in the day, including lunch and phys ed and music. We also have an advisory class. So advisory is a class that goes over, it's a really fun class, and we don't really consider it a class. It's built into the schedule, so, and each grade has it. So, 6th and 7th graders, excuse me, will have lunch 4th and 5th period, and all the 6th graders have lunch at the same time, all the 7th graders have lunch at the same time. On Fridays, and this will happen every Friday, there's an advisory period built into the schedule. So after 8th grade lunch, there's advisory, and then we move on to 7th and 8th period. So it's like an extra period. That's why the days, like the schedule's a little bit different on Fridays, by 4 minutes each period. So the advisory class, our advisors are run by our teachers, and a 6th grader can have like an 8th grade teacher. We try to match students up with teachers who they don't actually have teaching them right away every day, because we don't want this to be like a academic class. It's a time where students learn different life skills, like communication skills, friendship building. We talk about different things that are happening within our building, and it's really a time to like build community and be an open and safe space for students to share their experiences, what they're seeing, whether it's in school, outside of school, talk about current events that's happening in the world. So it's a really interesting class, and our students really enjoy it. So to give you a little, a more like in-depth view of what the day will look like, we have a faux schedule. So again, there are 8 periods, and you'll see down at the bottom we have period 9, which again will be after 6th period lunch on Fridays. That period will be for advisory. So in no specific order, the classes will be built out in this order. So I think for 6th and 7th, encore periods are, what periods are they? 5 and 7. So 5 and 7 for encore periods. And then the other periods will be for lunch, and then the core classes like math, science, social studies, the language classes. So all of this will stay the same throughout the year, except for 2nd and their 7th period. So in 6th grade, students will rotate each quarter. So there are 4 quarters in a year. Each quarter, so for instance, this student will take Chinese first quarter. Then 2nd quarter they may take French, 3rd quarter they may take Spanish, and so on and so forth. So they'll have one language each quarter. When they move up, then they'll get to decide which language they want to stick with. So this is a great way for them to get a foundation for each language. Again, we will go over all of this with students again, because I know it's always like the biggest thing in their head, like what will my schedule look like? So when they come next week, we'll go over all this with them again. So don't worry, they'll probably ask you all these questions about the classes and what it's gonna look like when you get home tonight. We're gonna leave a little bit of time after this for a little Q&A session. And we'll try to get to as many questions as possible. But we look forward to working with your children. Again, I am the 8th grade counselor, so I won't be working with them right now. But I look forward to working with them down the road, and it's so good to see all of you tonight.
So I guess before we get into the Q&A portion, I guess, a couple of things. There was a lot of information just shared right now. So I hope you guys are ready for a pop quiz. All right? So don't try and memorize this stuff. Something that we do, and it's probably going to start in July. I do send a regular communication that goes out. Oh yes, so very soon we're going to go around with some paper and pencils. If you have a pressing question that you want to ask, obviously feel free to raise your hands. If there's a question that you have that you want us to respond to as sort of like in a running document, we can do that as well. So, whatever works for you. But, going back to what I was saying, just to help make sure that you're going to hear from me probably in July. I'll send something out initially, just like a welcome message, and then I probably send a weekly communication. So I do try and incorporate some visuals so you can see some of the things that are occurring inside the classroom, and then just information, general information that I want you all to know. Something that comes up often are trips. Yes, I'm a big fan of trips, so I'm hoping that we have some trips already in mind as we're looking into next year for our 6th grade. one other thing is, this was shared a couple of times, and I'm gonna share it the third time, for a reason. In terms of teams, right? Our teams are purposely mixed together, right? So the only time that we actually take a request for, I want team 2 is if there's a parent who has already had team 2 and wants to remain in team 2, right? So we don't normally take requests that, I really want, my child to be with their best friend, they have to be on this team. Because if you can imagine, if everybody had that same request, what the makeup would be, right? So we're very purposeful in terms of mixing up all of our students.
And
okay?
please tell us if you are making a team request. If we get an email, if we know about it, we can take that request. If it's a sibling that we've had or we currently have, those are the requests we can take. But if we don't get an email, we'll assume that you want them just generally placed, the way we divide it up. So if you do have strong feelings that you want your child on the same team as their sibling or a different team, you can't pick which team, but just the same or another, just email the counselor, let us know, so when we do it, we have their name there.
And what I'll probably do is I'll share with your current elementary schools just contact information, so you have everybody's contact, of our counselors, myself, so that you can reach us when the need arises. So, questions? Yes, I think the parent request, if you request that you want them on the same team, then yes. If you request that you don't want them, then they don't have to be.
You could tell the elementary teacher, they'll let us know.
Question, yes.
When do they find out what team they're on?
When did they find out what team they're on? Actually, that doesn't come until about the end of August, probably a couple of weeks before school starts, that information comes home. I'll try and repeat the question and then answer it. Any other, yes?
Hi, do you currently have any plans to connect the incoming sixth grader with buddy from like seventh grade, for example?
The question was, is there any plan to connect the incoming sixth graders with a buddy? And that is definitely something that we can explore and look into. I will say that if you definitely feel that that would be helpful for your child, please let us know that. And that's something that we can definitely arrange. We haven't decided of like a school-wide approach to that, but if that's something that you feel would be beneficial for your particular child, just reach out and let us know, and we'll work on setting that up. Yes?
When does the school day start?
The school day for students is going to start at 8:40 and goes to 3:04. But students are also going to have about 16 minutes at the end of Monday through Thursday for any kind of extra help. Or just to like pop in to get clarification. We have what we call WIN, which is what I need. It's twice a day, twice a week in the morning. It's normally on Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 8 to 8:40. So that's when kids can come in and meet with, whichever teacher they need some additional assistance on. And that's more like small group, sometimes even, one-on-one type of help. And then there's 16 minutes at the end of each day, Monday through Thursday. Not Friday, Monday through Thursday, where you can get some additional help. Yes?
Is there a co-teach classroom at all 4 teams?
Not necessarily. It depends really each year. This year there is co-teach on all 4 teams. Yes, this year there is. It
Yes.
really depends on the year.
It depends on the year, need, number of students. And again, if you have a question that you'd rather not ask, please make sure you complete that form. What I am going to do is I am going to translate it into some kind of a document if we don't get to it. Sorry, so that hand will come down.
Will you be doing student-led tours at the end of August for incoming?
Yes, our wonderful PTA that I was just sharing with. Probably throughout the summer they do tours, and they will send out a sign-out sheet to your elementary schools. Probably by July I'll have your contact information, but I'll probably be able to send you that link as well. And then if you would want a tour, that can be arranged, etc.
How long is each period, and also how long is advisory on Friday?
Each period is 44 minutes. On Fridays, each period is 40 minutes, and advisory will be 28 minutes. That's currently this year. There's some slight adjustments that we'll be doing next year, and I will be communicating that with parents as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had one question here for our Dos Caminos families. The question was where do the Dos Caminos classes fit into the schedule? So for Dos Caminos students, the 6th graders will have 3 Dos Caminos classes. That is the Dos Caminos ELA, they will have Dos Caminos Social Studies, and they will have Dos Caminos Spanish. So it will replace, the Spanish will replace their language encore class. The language arts will replace regular ELA with their team. The social studies will do the same, regular replacement with their social studies class for their team. And they will have their team math and science teachers, okay? So if your student is in Dos Caminos, they'll have 3 Dos Caminos classes and 2 of their classes with their team, okay?
All right, so pass the mic, I'll take the next one. There's 2 questions about teams. Will twins be on the same team? We really leave that up to parents. Were you answer that one already? Okay, I get it. Okay, so you got that one? All right. And then, just, Stacy talked a little bit about how to make a team request to the elementary schools. You can tell your teacher. If you already have a student at Hommocks, you can email us directly on that as well. Just want to clarify how that is. Okay. There was a question about lunch, about like buying and packing lunch. And it's actually like one of the most popular spots on our tour next week is the lunchroom. There's a lot of different food options. They use the My School Bucks accounts, so you can load money on there. They've got hot lunch, it's different every day. They've got pizza every day, they've got a sandwich station, they've got a salad station. There's snacks, kids can get soft pretzels. The thing I remind kids though about on My School Bucks, the parents can see what they're buying. And so like, it's helpful as a parent, because sometimes we have to talk to kids about like, why are they buying like 6 soft pretzels per lunch period? Or just cookies, yeah. So, but the culture is, I think for a lot of kids, they do eat the school lunch, they can bring cash, they can pack some things, they can, buy some things, so. And they also get time to be outside at recess as well.
So I know we have about a minute left. We do still have a few questions here that, and then I'll get to your question right now. We do still have a few questions left that we are going to put into some kind of a Q&A document and send them out to parents, so that if you did write down a question, I'll make sure that we get to that question. Yes.
At the first day when they come in and they have no idea what's going on and they're scared shitless, is somebody gonna like show them, like one of you guys, if you're gonna show them their classes, like what happened, what happened today?
Yeah, so I can take that one. It's really exciting to see, everyone's coming in like excited and scared. The first thing that they do is go right to the first period class. And so kids usually come in with their schedules, they're posted on the portal, so you can see them in advance of the first day. The schools typically open, I don't know the dates yet, but we usually give like a day or 2 before the first day, where kids can come in and like open their locker and put stuff in, they can do like a quick run of their classes, things like that. The first few days are like literally all hands on deck for everybody. So the first day for 6th graders, I say to kids, like, your job today is just to find your way around. That's kind of it, don't worry about anything else. And every teacher, every counselor, every administrator, every campus supervisor is out in the hallways like directing kids. The last couple years, we were doing this program called Hommocks University, which we rolled out. So the first couple days, each classroom teacher would run like a workshop on reading your schedule, like decorating your locker, study skills, like managing stress in the first couple. So there's like a lot of first day things that happen in the first couple days. Just really basic, here's where you go, here's what you need. And then, as the days go on, they get more comfortable, then they get into more of the flow of it. But I will say, like, the first day, yeah, there's a lot of lost people, some tears, but I don't know, it's like this collective, it's like this, I don't know, it's like this force of everyone just kind of, like this energy of everyone just kind of doing it all together, and it's pretty cool.
And everyone's out in the hallway, like they'll see faces, they could ask anybody, campus supervisors, we're all out there, so if they have a question, all they have to do is ask. Teachers are aware there are 6th graders coming in, so if they're a little late, we get it. we'll kind of roll with the flow. So they just have to ask if they need help, and we'll be there.
You know, something else I'll be hoping to do going into next year, we had done this last year, and I think it was helpful, is, you know, having the sixth graders alone here for probably the first couple of hours before having everybody else come in and join. Just so that they're alone to kind of just roam the building and go through some of the activities that we have, and then everybody else joins in probably about like the 10, 11 o'clock time slot. So we do find different ways to help that first day of wow. So thank you all very much for your time. I look forward to meeting all of you. Have a good night.